Question, in your experience, what has been your biggest mistake transitioning from an individual contributor to a manager? Like if you could have given yourself that advice when you first made the leap, what advice would you have given to yourself?
No, great question. Great question. I think looking back, if you are a successful individual contributor and you transition into a sales management role where you are managing a couple of people under you, I think that it's a mindset shift that you need to make. Um, your mindset really needs to change from bringing revenue yourself, and being that aggressive closer to turning into a more nurturing leader, a more nurturing salespeople person. Because the objective of your role as a sales manager is to make sure that your team is thriving, your team is achieving their goals, and you are enabling an environment for your team to succeed in. Because your success as a manager lies in their success, right? I think that's a very important thing to remember for any sales manager. Um, Second thing that should be line number one, and I think most individual contributors would agree to, is don't be an asshole. To be honest,
Mm,
right? I think uh, that's an advice to any new sales manager that
mhm,
comes in. And typically, I just go by what are the fears uh, of most salespeople going into any role. Hey, I don't know how my sales manager actually is on the job, right? Or when the going gets tough, or when it's last week of the quarter, or we are nearing our targets. How does the dynamic play out? And I think those are two things. Be a nurturing person. Don't really be mean, nasty. Just understand that your success lies in the success of your team. I think that's the important thing.
yeah, I liked about that. I like your thoughts, and to add to that, from my personal point of view, previously the spotlight is shining on you as an individual contributor. You know, you close this big logo, everyone celebrates, you're the hero. But now, as a sales manager, you sort of have this to shift that spotlight to your team, because you're no longer the main star. You know, you want to develop future stars, and if you still want to be in the spotlight, being the knight in the shining armor, for example, it's not going to scale properly because you will become the bottleneck.
Truly, absolutely true, absolutely true. And I think in line with that, a huge mistake a lot of organizations do is their stellar individual contributor, an eventual next step for them, they'll put that person into a management role.
Hmm.
And most of the time, great individual contributors do not fare well in a management role unless they are given proper support,
Yes.
training, or even a mentor internally to kind of help them build them up for success as a manager. There is no doubt about their personal sales skills or their individual contribution. Well, I think that's a big mistake most organizations do, to promote individual contributors into a management role, because I think even in general in the world, the mindset is that if you are leading a team, you are at a higher you're more senior, or
Hmm.
you're doing better in your career than individual contributor. And I think that's also a sort of an Asian culture thing as
Hmm.
well. It's definitely true in India. If you're managing a team and a large team, the more successful you are perceived to have. I think those mindsets needs to be shifted around individual strengths.
Yeah.
And if you are, for example, interviewing for a management role, or if you are going into a management role, this is how an organization thinks, is visible in how they set targets. So in
Hmm.
organizations where sales managers also have individual sales targets, and quite hefty ones, quite naturally they wouldn't it'll be really tough for them to split their time between management and selling and meeting their own targets. Well, also there are organizations where sales managers don't have any targets. They want managers to 100% focus their time on making sure the AEs or the individual contributors are succeeding, right? So I think that's it sends a message on how you want your managers to be
Yeah.
and behave.